Good evening and welcome to Flat Earth United. This will be a very quick after show after a very nice interview with Joshua from Authentic Intent. So I've been rattling through a few technical exercises on OBS as while I was streaming it would seem that I was having dropped frames and various other things. So I've been streaming, people have been saying we can't hear you and stuff, and it's like, no, don't worry, I'm just checking various different technical aspects of the show while I've got an opportunity or my kids asleep. So I also did want to actually do a quick live stream to give some information across now that I've actually got my stream running, which is fantastic. No dropped frames whatsoever. Fantastic news. But yes, the purpose of this show is to go through a few bits of information about how Flat Earth United will be working from now on. So as purely an accident, shall we say, during the 1984 show, I ended up having two live streams. And what occurred to me during those two live streams was the fact that there was two distinct groups of people in both of the chats. Now, as of, I don't know, a couple of months ago, I got rid of all of the moderators in my shows. I do keep, now that I've got a good handle on how to run them, a reasonably good eye on the chat feeds to time people out or ban them as necessary. But I don't want people banned, which is the primary reason for getting people removed as moderators. It used to be the case when the show was very small that my wife would do all of the moderation, and now she doesn't. She gets more sleep. It's down to me to do it, but that's fine. I can actually run it with my rather slick setup that I've got. The problem I was having, as I said, was that OBS is dropping frames. So in order to combat that problem, the resolution has been dropped down to 720 on OBS, and I think that will combat the problem of having two streams running. I think Google Plus runs at that anyway. But as I say, it means that you've got kind of a behind-the-scenes version of the show and the show itself. So if it's a group show, what I will intend to do is fire up an OBS feed like the one that we've got now and actually chat about what the show will be. Maybe I'll do the actual starting up of the show and setting up of the show. There's various different things that I can do kind of behind the scenes if I've got a guest on. So for the sake of argument, Helena Phoenix, who's somebody I've been trying to arrange a show with for a while, it's one where I may actually go into the actual streaming part of the Google setup and actually set it up while I'm talking to you. Why not? There's no reason why I couldn't actually set up a live stream whilst doing the OBS bit. Loads of other people get away with this. I see this as quite a tedious part of YouTube in the respect that it's not that much fun to watch people send out their invites. Now, that's not to say that I'm just going to do a random show where I randomly ask people in the chat to join my show. I just can't bring myself to do that. I will still arrange the shows in advance with the people I want to talk to. But while I'm trying to get them on the phone, so to speak, or get them on air, I'll have a live stream running. And I think it means that there are instances where the shows don't go ahead. Now, these aren't advertised shows because obviously if there's a guest that I think is a bit cagey and might not, might let me down, I don't necessarily put an advert out for it. That wasn't the case with Authentic Intent, by the way. I intentionally started up two streams at exactly the same time, cold, so that I could see how well both of them did in terms of the live viewing figures. And it was quickly obvious that OBS was doing worse than Google Plus. That could be because OBS tags up not OBS, sorry, that Google Plus tags up their streams with the HOA, Hangouts on Air hashtag once the show goes live. I think that does make a big difference to the publicity of that show. So once that was obvious, halfway through the show, I started sharing it on Skype, the Google Plus one that is, to various different platforms, Facebook and Twitter and G+, and then obviously that escalated the amount of viewership that they had. But certainly, as I say, in streams gone by, since using OBS, it seems to have a lower viewership than Google Plus did. Just get less viewers on it. But yeah, all sorted now. Everything's done. I'm going to have this actually running hopefully perfectly in the future. It also means that I can be a bit more frivolous or a bit more careless, as I again was with Authentic Intent, Joshua. In terms of his screen sharing, he put up a screen share. It had the hangout key, and I wasn't too fussed. because I've got a second stream running that started at exactly the same time. So were it to be the case that somebody joined that stream and took control of it, sniped it effectively, I could still take that stream down and just use the OBS feed, providing it's of a sufficient quality, and it certainly seems to be. Got a few people in chat actually listening to this diatribe about my channel. Not as interesting as Joshua, I'm afraid. Anybody who's joining hoping for me to be having a guest, I don't, unfortunately. But I will tomorrow. So tomorrow at about 11 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, or no, British Summer Time, I do apologise. We're an hour ahead at the moment. So 11 p.m. BST, we will have Potatoes Assemble. I think I might call it the same thing. I named the group chat on Skype to ask a few people to actually join me. Hopefully 2 or 3 people will actually join me tomorrow. But as I've described, I will start up this feed, so the OBS feed, and talk to my audience one-to-one. And from there on in, I will then invite people to... I don't know if I'll do it on G+. I think I will, yes. I'll have the G+ key ready in my clipboard, so I can send it out on Skype for people to actually join that show. And as they join, there will be conversation between me and the guests, which is always good. This sort of before and after. Joshua is a case in point. As soon as the stop button was pressed, he and I were discussing all sorts of aspects of Flat Earth, and I wish there was an off button during the show, a kind of fake off button, and this is going to be my version of that. So sort of having the ability to actually, bring up the chat and say to the people in the chat, how are you doing? This is what the show is going to be about, and it gives us a kind of rolling advert. I'll then have a link in the OBS stream below the feed, like you can see now, to that stream that starts, and then you can kind of, hopefully the more avid subscribers of Nathan Oakley 1980, if I have any avid subscribers. I don't think I do. I've just got people who subscribe. Martin's got enthusiastic subscribers. That I will definitely admit and concede. But if there were to be any people who would like to join me in these bits before the show, while I'm setting up, while I'm having the frustration and the sound not working and the stream not working, but it gives me an opportunity to actually talk to some of the people in the chat. So I'm going to do that now. Hopefully, if I can get it up on my channel, I can actually see it, because my screens are some distance away. So the screen that you see when I transition, that I'm actually looking at, is maybe 4 feet away, and it's only a small monitor, so I can't really read any of the chat off it. And the same goes for the screen that you're presented with for most of the time with the chat feed rolling up. That particular feed is, I don't know, 15 or 16 feet away from me, so I can't really read it. But there we go. I'm going to say hello to everybody who's in the chat. If this were to be tomorrow's stream, I'd be talking about the fact that I've got a show running as soon as I get some guests into the Google Hangout. So that would be, minimised with the chat feed as it is at the moment. People chatting away and saying hello and how you're doing. You have a clipboard, Nathan. Yeah, where you cut and paste, Zoe. So, you cut something and it goes to your clipboard, and then you paste it, in this case, the Google Plus Hangouts on Air key that I'll share with my guests tomorrow, you being one of them. So for Potatoes Assemble, we'll hopefully have Zoe Scribner, hopefully if she's available. I've asked quite a number of people, but as is always the case with these group showings, you may have people, you may not. Some will attend and some will not. I don't know if Zoe will be one of them, but she's certainly been invited to talk about her experiences. She's going to be a fence sitter in some respect, because she is a videographer, Zoe Scribner of Be Here and Love YouTube channel, but she also obviously makes YouTube videos, so she gets subject to some of the abuse when a new video comes out. She also gets to see a lot of the things that we experience and discusses them off air with us at length, so I'm hoping that Zoe will be there to put her input into that show. But yeah, the show will be about our YouTube experiences talking about Flat Earth. So let's say hello to a few people. First and foremost to Zach, who explained that my mic was on mute, which I was semi-aware of, as I was saying. I was doing technical things on the last 2 streams, trying to line out why I was dropping frames. A lot of cursing on those 2 streams, so probably no bad thing that the mic was off. Let's see who we've got in there. We've got Twitwit, good to see you. Tony Ward, Deja Vu, very good to have you here. Fuckstick Court, I assume that is Vlad, the Globe Impaler, who has got a Poor Sean for calling everything fuckstick at the moment. Good for you though, my friend. Good to have you here. Space Hicks, hello. Daniel Mayer, very pleased to have you here. Fantastic. Flatastic, my apologies. Good to have you here. Good to have you here, Flatastic. Like a little bit. Dearth. Good to have you here. Deep inside the rabbit hole. There are a lot of people telling me that I can't be heard, presumably from the previous feed. Call 911. Live INQ. There's Tim Osman in Derry sniping. Fair enough. Got Dog Earth. Pleased to have you here. Let's get him some thumbs up, says Dog Earth. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of take the IPS approach with thumbs up, thumbs down. I don't know. Sometimes, some days I'll have the hat on that tells me that if I get more than 10% thumbs down, it won't go to the home pages. Other times I see videos that have got dozens of thumbs down and they're in the home pages. So, I don't know. I don't know how much cred to give the thumbs up, thumbs down thing. Be here and love. AK sounded... Oh, joke. Just sounded so old-fashioned. Don't know what the context is. Charlotte, pleased to have you here. Ace McLeod. Steve Anthony. Sarcastic bugger. Pleased to have you here. Got. It has Toby. Hey to you too. LEQ16. Ah, Sassy Undeniably. How you doing? Very pleased to have you here. I've not seen you in my chat before. And I think that's probably about it. So very, very pleased to have you here. I'll summarise why I've done this stream and then I'll probably round out. You know what? I said it to Joshua. As soon as the stream ended, I explained that from now on I was intending to do a call to action at the beginning of each stream and say words to the effect of, if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Some sort of cheesy intro along those lines. But every time I hit the start button, I forget to do it. So I will have a usual call to action at the end where I ask you all to like, share, subscribe, comment below. But I'll hopefully, if I remember, fingers crossed, do those in the beginning at the bit that people actually watch rather than at the end. So yeah, anyway, I'll summarise why I'm doing this. So tomorrow, plug, first and foremost, we have a show which will be called Potatoes Assemble, discussing the whys and wherefores of flat earth YouTubing. It'll be a panel show, so there'll hopefully be a few guests on that. So that was the main reason to actually plug that show. Also to iron out a few technical creases and to explain that there'll be a behind the scenes show which will run on OBS like this. So before the show actually goes out live, I will start my OBS feed as soon as I sit down at my desk, so to speak. This isn't a desk, I'm just on my sofa. But I'll start the OBS feed running and then discuss with the chat room or whoever I get first into the Google Hangout what's going to happen on the show, things like that. It'll be kind of like a behind the scenes. And then once I've got maybe 2 or 3 guests, I'll hit the start button, which you will see happen on the OBS feed, and you'll get to see me actually start the show properly on that feed, which will hopefully end up being the hour and a half, maybe 2 hours at a push, as it's a group show feed that is condensed, that will get shared around and publicised on Facebook and Twitter and all those good things. But you'll get to see how that all starts, with possibly some cursing and me, getting frustrated with things that don't work, and so on and so forth. But the idea being that 2 reasons. One, if one stream goes down or gets sniped, I have the backup stream. I can just snip out that section and republish it with me saying, "Good evening and welcome to Flat Earth United" at the beginning. I can snip that out of the OBS stream, no problem. But also, as I say, it gives you the opportunity to see how some of these things work. And I will hopefully get a bit more slick at, sharing screens and having it all nicely framed up. I have got, obviously, a few different things I can transition to, which I'll go through now, just so I can say that I've done it in my own mind. So obviously from my webcam position, there's various things I can go to. One you've seen already, which is just the projector or my secondary screen. But I've also got these photos, which I think I've shown on one of the stream, like a guessing game, if you like. So this particular one that was on screen at the minute, Desperado, and then, the next one comes up without any title. You've just got to guess the movie. I'm a bit of a movie fan. I like them. And rather than having a black screen, if I've got to have, I don't know, something that's got the hangout key or something that I don't necessarily want people to see, I'll have the photos transitioning in the background every few seconds, rather than just nothing, black screen. So that's another little thing that I've done. Have I got anything else on here? I do have a black screen, but I won't be using it. So TV and webcam. Oh yeah, so I've also got my primary screen, the one that I'm looking at when it looks like I should be looking at the camera. So that's my primary screen. If there is anything else that I need to share, I'll be able to bring those up nice and easily as well. But on the whole, as I say, because there'll be 2 streams running up, the guests and myself can use that to run as a normal hangout. So I can actually adjust their audio levels and have them share things from their desktop and so on and so forth. That's been pretty much it. I hope you've all enjoyed yourselves with my talk about how Flat Earth United is evolving. I've already gone through the boring details of my sound and lighting, and not that my lighting's on. I've got one light just for this stream at the moment, but and the camera that I've got, so hopefully that's improved things for the audience. My call to action, which will come now: make sure you like, comment, subscribe and share this video far and wide. I've been Nathan Oakley. I'll see you all in the next video.